After 3 surgeries and over $70,000 in medical bills, I wasn't out a single penny, not one penny. And I actually received over $50,000 in tax-free cash benefits over and beyond my out-of-pocket limits. I think I've got the best health insurance strategy in America. Prove me wrong. Hey, this is Papa D, and this is Papa D's Corner. I'm your host, Breland, also known as Papa D. My assistants are ChatGPT, also known as Chatty Patty, Mila Grok, and Claude. This show is for education and entertainment purposes. I'm here for the entertainment. They're here for the education. One of the most common questions I hear from clients goes something like this.
Daryl, if I buy a health plan with a large deductible because the premium is lower, am I really saving any money? Or am I just shifting the cost from my monthly premium to my out-of-pocket expenses?
That's a great question, and the answer may surprise you. Today, I'm going to show you how a lower premium major medical plan, when paired with the right supplemental coverage, can potentially save thousands of dollars per year while actually reducing your financial risk. We'll walk through real-world examples involving doctor visits, MRIs, surgery, hospitalization, prescription drugs, and even some examples from my own family. And before we're finished, you'll understand why this is the exact strategy that I personally use for myself and my own family. Before you get too concerned about seeing an $8,000 deductible in a proposal like the one I'm discussing, there's an important fact that many people overlook. That deductible doesn't apply to everything. For example, it doesn't apply to your preventive wellness visits, which are covered at 100%. It also doesn't apply to your regular doctor office visit copays, specialist visit copays, urgent care visits, telemedicine, or your prescription drug costs. Generally speaking, the deductible primarily comes into play for the big ticket items, things like hospitalization, outpatient surgery, advanced imaging such as MREs and CT scans and other major medical expenses. Yet there are exceptions, of course, but that's the general concept. Take a colonoscopy, for example. If it's considered preventive screening, it's typically covered at 100%. If it's performed because of a medical condition or symptoms, then your deductible may apply. And this is exactly where supplemental coverage can make a tremendous difference. When you factor in the annual premium savings from choosing a lower cost major medical plan, plus the cash benefits paid by the supplemental policy, the financial picture often looks very different than most people expect. And let's be honest, most people are not going to experience a major hospitalization or surgery every year. But if you do, that's when the supplemental benefits can really shine. So the real question isn't simply how high is the deductible. The better question is, after considering my premium savings and my supplemental benefits, what is my actual financial risk? And for many people, the answer may be far better than they ever imagined. By the way, take a look at your screen now to see what the current rates are when this video was made for the plan that I'm describing. Your annual premium savings could be greater than your maximum out-of-pocket limit. First, a few important disclosures. The examples I'm using today involve two separate insurance companies. One is a nationwide PPO's major medical plan available to businesses with as few as one employee, including sole proprietors with an EIN, which stands for Employer Identification Number. You can get one for free on the IRS government website if you don't have one already. The second is a supplemental fixed benefit cash indemnity plan, one of the very best available on the market today. I might add, these examples are educational only. actual claims and benefits vary by state and circumstance. Let's start with one of the biggest misconceptions in health insurance. Most people focus on the deductible, but the deductible is usually not the most important number. The most important number is your maximum annual out-of-pocket expense. In the example I'll discuss today, the major medical plan has an annual in-network maximum out-of-pocket limit of approximately $8,700. That number includes your deductible, copays, and co-insurance combined. Once you reach that amount, the plan pays 100% of covered in-network expenses for the remainder of the year. Now, notice something important here. The question isn't whether the supplemental plan pays every dollar of every claim. The real question is this: does the combination of lower premiums plus supplemental cash benefits leave you financially better off than paying much higher premiums for traditional coverage? For many families, the answer is absolutely yes. Because if the supplemental benefits pay enough, your actual net out-of-pocket expense could be much lower than you might expect. And in some cases, it may even be less than zero. First, let me explain who this type of coverage is designed for. This major medical plan is available to businesses with as few as one employee. That means many sole proprietors can qualify. You do need a valid employer identification number, commonly called an EIN. The major medical plan and the supplemental plan are issued by two different companies. The major medical plan utilizes the nationwide Cigna PPO network, but it is not actually insured by Cigna. Instead, it operates as a self-funded plan that purchases reinsurance protection for catastrophic claims. If approved, pre-existing conditions are covered by the major medical plan. The supplemental policy, however, excludes pre-existing conditions during the first 12 months, but then covers those conditions after the policy's first anniversary. Let's begin with a common scenario. You wake up feeling terrible and schedule an appointment with your primary care physician. Your office visit copay is $50. In my proposed plan, you receive treatment and a prescription for a generic antibiotic, which could cost you $0 if the medicine is on your primary plan's formulary, which it almost certainly will be. Now, here's where supplemental coverage can help. The plan that I recommend pays $125 up to 8 times a year, which means that your benefit exceeds your copay in this example. Plus, your supplemental plan pays you $50 per prescription, regardless of your cost, up to $750 per year. The result, your actual net out-of-pocket expenses, this scenario is less than $0. Your benefits exceeded your copy and prescription costs by $125. What do you think so far? Let me know in the comments. Let's move on to another very common scenario. Suppose your doctor wants to see you again in a couple of weeks and orders some routine lab work. On the major medical plan I'm illustrating, your specialist copay would be approximately $120. Let's assume your lab work costs around $160. Depending on how your services are coded and processed, your total out-of-pocket expense could be around $280. Now let's look at the supplemental benefits. The supplemental plan pays $125 for a physician office visit and also provides benefits for many diagnostic procedures. Again, these are general examples, and actual benefits will depend on the specific services performed. But in many routine situations, the supplemental benefits can offset a substantial portion of your out-of-pocket costs. The important point is this: when you evaluate your actual financial exposure, you need to consider both sides of the equation, not just the deductible on the major medical plan. Now let's consider an MRI. MRIs are expensive. A typical MRI can easily cost anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000 or more. On the major medical plan I'm illustrating, advanced diagnostic imaging is generally subject to co-insurance after the deductible. However, the supplemental plan pays a fixed cash benefit for MRI, CT, and PET scans. In the level of coverage that I recommend, that benefit is $500. That means that regardless of what your actual out-of-pocket expense ends up being, you receive a cash benefit payment that can be used however you choose. You can use it to pay medical bills, you can use it to cover lost income, or you can simply deposit it into your checking account. Again, the goal isn't necessarily to eliminate every expense. The goal is to substantially reduce your financial risk. Let's consider outpatient surgery. Suppose you require a surgical procedure that does not require an overnight hospital stay. Under the major medical plan, you'll be responsible for your deductible, co-insurance, and other applicable cost sharing until you reach your annual maximum out-of-pocket limit. Remember, that maximum annual exposure is approximately $8,700 in network. Now let's look at the supplemental side. The supplemental plan pays an outpatient surgery facility benefit. In addition, it pays a physician surgical benefit based on the Medicare physician fee schedule. The plan that I am proposing pays double the Medicare allowance for surgery, the assistant surgeon, and the anesthesiologist. That's important because the supplemental plan pays the scheduled benefit regardless of what your actual responsibility happens to be. The payment can be made directly to you or assigned to the medical provider. In many cases, these benefits can substantially reduce your actual out-of-pocket exposure, and sometimes they can exceed it. Now let's look at a more serious situation. Suppose you're involved in an accident and require surgery, followed by a 3-night hospital stay. This is the scenario that causes most people to worry about choosing a higher deductible health plan. Let's assume that your total medical expenses are substantial. Under the major medical plan, your worst case in-network exposure would generally be limited to approximately $8,700 for the year. Now let's look at what the supplemental coverage may contribute. The supplemental plan pays a hospital admission benefit, daily hospital confinement benefits, surgical benefits, diagnostic testing benefits, physician office benefits, prescription benefits, and various ancillary benefits. Again, these are examples only, and actual benefits depend on the specific circumstances. But when you add these benefits together, it's entirely possible that the supplemental benefits may offset a significant portion, or in some cases, all of your maximum out-of-pocket exposure. And that's when people begin to understand why I personally own this type of coverage myself. Let's talk briefly about prescription drugs. The major medical plan includes prescription drug coverage with generic preferred brand and non-preferred brand copays. The supplemental plan also provides cash prescription benefits regardless of your actual prescription cost. And for individuals taking expensive specialty medications or certain high-cost brand name drugs, I also offer an optional standalone prescription drug program that can sometimes produce substantial savings. Not everyone needs that additional program, but for the right person, it can make a dramatic difference. The supplemental coverage I recommend is available in several different benefit levels, including options with higher premiums and richer benefits. However, based on my experience, I believe this particular level offers the optimum balance between premium cost and protection. Could you spend more? Absolutely. Could you receive larger benefits? Absolutely. But at some point, increasing supplemental premiums starts reducing the very savings that made this strategy attractive in the first place. My goal isn't to sell you the most expensive plan available. My goal is to help you maximize value.
I want to share with you why I believe in this strategy so strongly. It's because I personally used it before I became eligible for Medicare. By the way, this is better coverage than Medicare, what I have now. In 2024, I underwent emergency gallbladder surgery. Within a few months, I had a knee replacement surgery, then another one. I had a colonoscopy, multiple MRIs, an ultrasound, and numerous doctor visits, lab work, physical therapy, and a whole bunch of other stuff. My medical bills exceeded about at least $70,000. My out-of-pocket expenses, zero. In addition, my supplemental coverage paid me approximately $22,000 for my gallbladder surgery, approximately $15,000 to $17,000 for each knee replacement, and approximately $7,000 for my colonoscopy, and a bunch of other stuff. In total, I received approximately $50,000 in tax-free benefits. Tax-free! And that's over and beyond my medical expenses. Now, I can't guarantee you will experience the same results. In fact, my policy that I have is so good they don't offer it anymore as a supplement. But this is the next best thing that I'm proposing. But many of my clients have experienced similar outcomes, including my own family members. And that's why I personally owned this type of coverage for myself and why I recommend it for you. Here's another story. Last Christmas, a family member of mine had terrible back pain. And we initially thought it was a minor problem. It turned out that she had to have surgery and was in the hospital twice, had 3 different procedures. Her employer's sponsored medical plan had a $9,000 maximum out-of-pocket exposure. Had she not had the supplement that I recommended for her, she'd have been out $9,000, and for her, that would have been a devastating financial setback in her mind. The supplemental plan paid her right at $30,000 tax-free, so that not only covered her $9,000 max out of pocket, it helped her get ahead. I mean, it really was a financial boost to her. She ended up netting over $20,000 tax-free. Pretty darn good, huh? So if you're self-employed like I am, and you're unable to work, you're often unable to earn income. And this, to me, is like having a plan that's better than a disability policy in addition to your health insurance plan. So there you go. So let's return to the original question. If you could choose a lower premium health plan with a larger deductible, are you really saving money? If you qualify for the program that I've described, the answer is almost certainly yes. If you're paying to cover a spouse or children, then the answer is very often a resounding yes. In many family situations, the annual premium savings alone can exceed $12,000 per year. That's more than your max out of pocket is with your health plan. When you combine those savings with the properly structured supplemental protection, something interesting can happen. Your supplemental benefits may actually exceed your deductibles and copays and other out-of-pocket expenses. Will that happen every time? Of course not. But when serious medical events occur, it can make an enormous difference. And that's why this strategy I personally use for myself and for my family is so good. If you'd like to see whether or not you qualify and how this strategy might work in your specific situation, I'd be happy to help. Hey, if you like me and Grok and ChatGPT, smash that like button on it, subscribe to this channel, and ring the bell so that you get notified when new episodes are released. And don't forget to leave a comment or ask a question below. I will try to respond to everyone. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode of Papa D's Corner.